Hello everyone, I am John BenderWaffles Aljets, and welcome to Critical Development, the show where I take a look at maps and other bits of game development goodies and give them some critical feedback in hopes that everyone can learn and grow. I know that it's been a long time since the last episode of this show, and I apologize for that. Life happened. It was just a big whole mess. But anyways, I'm finally gonna get to these maps, so let's jump right into it. Our first one here is a sort of forest town map from Atheist Fanatic, the person who's probably been waiting the longest for me to take a look at his maps. Now I'm gonna start things off on a positive note by saying that I actually rather like the layout of this town. He uses elevation in a good way, which is a sign of somebody who's been making maps for quite a while. Because most rookie map makers won't add in that little bit of elevation to make it feel more alive and more natural. But somebody who has been at it for a while will know that using rock formations really sells the differing levels and gives maps depth. Now on to the not so great things. I've got two main complaints about this map. First and foremost, the buildings are all just boxes, and that's boring to look at. You should vary up your building shapes, get some more elongated ones, some taller ones, different things like that, because people don't build buildings all to uniform shapes unless you live in like some model home suburbs, which this is a forest town, it's not the suburbs. So vary up the buildings a little bit, make things just more visually interesting. And on the note of visually interesting, I have to tear into this tile, this forest tile. Now this one isn't necessarily on Atheist Fanatic himself. Like, it's fine, it's part of the default tile set, so it's in there to be used. But that tree tile just annoys the crap out of me because it isn't interesting to look at. I get that it's supposed to sell the idea of like a deep and dark forest, but to me, it's just lazy. Because it's so much more visually interesting to fill in that space with actual trees. And if you want to take that look and sell the deep dark forest look, then use parallax mapping techniques to give it like a fog overlay or to darken the map down or something. Just please do not use that tree tile. That is sort of my plea to the RPG Maker community. Do not use it. It's lazy and ugly and just uninteresting. Overall though, not too bad of a map, just fix those couple of things and honestly, it'll be pretty good. So now we have this map from Chiron Wolfgang, I hope that I am pronouncing that correctly. It's a sort of cave map, you know, very much similar to a lot of other dungeons that we've seen. It appears to be, I would imagine, sort of an early game dungeon because it's very straightforward. Overall, it's a pretty standard looking cave. It's sort of thing that you'll see from pretty much everybody, which is largely the problem. The use of auto tiles here just kind of makes it blocky and uninteresting, and it looks like someplace that someone carved out on purpose, which might be the intention because I see like pickaxes and statues and things of that nature, but no part of this map screams natural at all to me, and that might be a problem. Adding in different layers on top of your base rock layer to give it sort of, you know, height and making it feel like a much more open cave system would be nice. Maybe have some offshoot rooms so that the players can go exploring and it's not just so like a linear straightforward path. I do see that there's like a room in the middle of the cave and that might be an offshoot, but you could also have like an offshoot tunnel going down sort of to the lower left there. That might be kind of interesting. Maybe have one going into the upper right. I don't know, just something to give the player some area to kind of explore. I really do like the water going through the middle of the map though. I think that's a nice little touch, although I wish that it wasn't quite so centralized. Like maybe instead of having it go top to bottom, maybe have it go sort of diagonally. It just would be a little bit more visually appealing that way. And next we have this one from Dragonite Spam, which he sent in, which he actually made within RPG Maker XP, utilizing the Pokemon Essentials sort of toolkit plugin suite thing. So I'm going to take a look at this map from the viewpoint of a Pokemon fan game. So without further ado, let's just sort of really dive into the main problem with this map, which is that this map just doesn't really have any sort of momentum. Now, what do I mean about that? Well, when you look at Pokemon maps, they all have sort of a guiding hand that is sort of pushing the player in certain directions. And this map just doesn't really feel like that. It's very open. There's a lot of just empty space for the player to walk around, just kind of, moseying, doing their own thing. Nothing really kind of pointing them in the direction of like, hey, look, this is where you're supposed to go. Other than the fact that the map is, obviously it's north to south. So obviously you sort of figure, okay, I'm gonna go north, or okay, I'm gonna go south, but there's nothing interesting about that. It's kind of just a straight line. I would love to see some more trees sort of creating a bit more of a winding path, and you do have a little bit of that with the rocks, giving it, different elevations, and you gotta go upstairs and downstairs and all that sort of stuff, but it's not really that exciting. There's nothing about this map that really stands out in terms of its overall design. Also, just overall, kind of building off of the idea of this map being extremely open, is that it's also just kind of boring. Yeah, the different elevation changes are really, really nice, and again, that's sort of a sign of somebody who's been making maps for a while and kind of knows how to play the game. But there's nothing all that visually distinct about it. Yeah, you got that little rock circle thing there, that's kind of cool. But the trees are all just in rows, just sort of building upon each other. There's no interesting designs with the trees. The trees aren't blocking the path at all. There's just nothing here that is that exciting. The river down there is kind of nice to look at, but on the other side of it, there's just nothing. It's just not that great to look at. And honestly, if this was in a Pokemon game, I think this would be easily the most forgettable route. But all you'd really have to do to fix this up is just vary the trees a bit. Sort of space them out, get them in more interesting designs than just in columns next to each other. I feel like I'm doing a really bad job of completely articulating my problems with this map, which is why this one is going to be the one that I am going to create in my little speed development section here. So let's get to that. I will say though, I really like Dragonite Spam's tile set. It's very much like a 4th generation sort of feel, which is kind of what I go for with my custom tile set. So I really, really dig that. That is really cool. But anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. Also, you can click on the buttons over on the side of the screen there to, you know, check out some other stuff that I've done. I've done like reviews and other game development stuff. It's pretty great. Thanks for watching, guys and gals, and have a good one.